Good morning and welcome to Morning Light Radio. Happy Wednesday and thank you for being here. Your presence is felt, your presence is appreciated, and it is exciting to be here with you. Today we are going to just let the flow go as even if that means my stream dropping out and me getting back in. But that's what happens when I put this backing track on. It's a bit long, so I think it sometimes overwhelms my network. I'm taking a second here to light some Palo Santo at a stop sign, stop light. Got a nice flame going. Just breathe some of that good, calm essence into my day. Share that with you. I did a lot of dreaming this morning and last night. A few instances it was a dark and a bit frightening. And I'm curious if anything might come back to my memory along the way here, might bubble up and have some recall. The last dream that I had was very dark and there was a lot of carnage. And at the moment, I don't really want to focus my energy towards that direction. As a reminder for all the kind people in there that may or may not be tuning in now or in another time, in another place. is not a sensational show. I will not be reading the news. It most likely is going to have a lot of quiet moments. Talking slow. You might get stuck at a roundabout. Not really looking towards entertaining myself or anybody else here. What I am attempting to do is open up some spaces and see into my own darkness. And take a moment to breathe into those spaces. We had some conversations about dreams with some nice folks in various chats and within conversation as well. And for the last 3, 4 nights, I have been full of dreams. And there's a lot of the times I'll wake up and have a dream and need to get up and use the bathroom, maybe real late in the morning, night. And I'll take a mental note of that dream. And sometimes that mental note will help for recall. Most of the time it will not be so helpful. And sometimes I'll be discussing or thinking about something, and there will be a string of that dream that comes back into perception, and then that string could at times be further pulled. So more dreams could be discovered. More of the dream could be discovered and uncovered. And by just saying that I had a dream, like almost kind of come into view, and it's a topic that has been coming up quite a bit in my dreams. And I'm not getting a clear view of it at the moment, but the feeling that came up was a gathering, almost kind of like a camp type of gathering. Not necessarily camping, but a camp. And generally, in these camp dreams, I'm always looking for someone or looking for something, and I find myself in a maze of corridors and rooms. I never really get to that destination, and I am blessed with a friend and a guest who was kind enough to interpret one of my dreams and brought a perspective to it that I might have a hard time seeing myself. Had a hard time seeing it within myself, and helped me to understand the own nature of my projections. So welcome and thank you, my friend, the Blood Scotsman, Alan Skywalker.
Good morning, America.
Good afternoon to you. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Streamed for a little while this afternoon, made some homemade bread and some homemade soup. Yeah, man, a good vibe.
Now that sounds like my type of meal. Soup and bread.
Believe it or not,
Homemade.
it was when I heard Roy talking about it would be great to sit round the campfire and break some bread. And I've always cooked for myself and baked a lot of stuff, but for the last year or so, I just stopped. And me talking about that with Russell, that I probably wouldn't make it into battle, but I'd make sure there was a lot of soup made for everybody coming back. So you'll find me in the kitchen, and I was like, today, soup and bread.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll just show you. Can you see the screen?
It's very small, but I can see it.
Oh, because you will know what it's like just with home baking. And the smell, I just forgot how great everything smells, you know?
That is a beautiful piece of bread.
Yeah, man.
Oh, is that sourdough?
Yeah, it's just wholemeal, just a flatbread. There's like no salt, no sugar, none of that sort of stuff.
That is gorgeous.
And some people have actually remarked sometimes, oh, it's a little bit tasteless. I was like, yeah, exactly. bread's not supposed to be tasty. Bread's supposed to like fill up your sort of like carbohydrates in a natural way, not with all the additives that easily burns off fats.
Yeah, get you that
Mm,
nourishment. And
mm.
yeah, it's fun because I talk to my kids about let's see, talk to my
Yeah,
kids about the idea that food is energy and food is sustenance, and as delicious as it is, sometimes it's okay to just enjoy the food, just enjoy the simplicity of it, and not always search for this
the best
high
tomatoes.
flavor.
The best
Oh,
tomatoes I ever tried was the tomatoes I grew myself, and that has been the same with absolutely anything that I have grown.
everything.
Just just tastes amazing. It's like, what is that? Really strange.
That is really interesting.
Yeah, and also
I
the
haven't
strawberries
grew
that I grew
anything for
last
a
year,
long
and this
time.
year there'll be more. Well, this year again, more strawberries, more tomatoes. Uh, it must be done.
You know, it is one of
Not
my
even for the
favorite things to
production
eat.
of whatever that would be, or even the saving money, but just the part in our regeneration of soil and surface and the oxygen and the whole symbiotic connection to it all. So yeah, grow something, anything doesn't make any difference what it is. Just grow, man.
Well, the weeds in my yard are nice and overgrown,
So me
and it's
also,
really
when
cool.
I first got,
It's
yeah,
and
oh, I love the weeds
it's
because
really
that's world.
well, one of the cool things about that is, especially during the season here, where everything's green and kind of luscious at this time. The There is so much life happening in those weeds. It was cool, and me and my little one were playing outside yesterday, and we went into the little yard, and one of my outdoor rockers, the cushion was blown over, dangling from the side of the chair for the last several months, probably just a mess, right? And I decided it's time to pick that cushion up, and under it were two beautiful
Mushroom.
snakes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say mushrooms.
That would have been cool. Especially, I did sprinkle some special mushroom powder in front, but I haven't seen anything. No, I didn't really get too involved. I said, hey, let's just put this here instead of somewhere else.
Two snakes.
And two freaking snakes, beautiful garden snakes, and me and the little one seeing it. One of them awkwardly slithered to the weeds really quickly, and the other one was just sitting there, wasn't even moving. It was like in that higher vibration, that dream state. Could not be bothered, so I kind of had to tap it a few times, and I was kind of checking if it was live,
Yeah.
and tapped it a few times, and it finally um, found itself some cover. I get really excited about that stuff. I love the creatures. I know we were talking. I believe it was Roy Rat, right? That we were talking to about the creatures and having
Yeah, but
that
the
community.
critters,
The critters, creatures.
critters, the little critters, those little critters.
those little critters, dang them. Yeah, yeah, it was a fun thing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and there's
You,
nothing like a homemade bake of bread. Wow, what a
it's
world
the
of difference.
it's the smell. It's the smell, and it lasts you so long, and it's just everything all about it. And yeah, the process of making it, and I just you get out of swing or habit of things that also make you feel good. Things we connect to or find that is part of us, and we really get a lot of individual and personal joy out of it. And then when I started connecting to that part of me, I was baking for everybody.
Yes,
Muffins here
yes,
and bread there,
yes.
and just every single day. And it was being up at 6 o'clock in the morning to make the bread, prove the bread, leave it for 35 minutes, and then refold it and leave it for an hour, then put it in the oven. But in between all that, you could do muffins. So by between 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock, you could have two breads made and 24 muffins, and then away out to hug some trees.
Yeah, that's a good day right there.
It sure is, man.
That is a great day. Yeah, I would
Yeah,
advise anybody who is experiencing confusion, depression, um, sadness. I would advise baking. Make some bread. Make the most simple, necessary things in your life an absolute beautiful thing in art. And even cooking, just cooking for yourself and taking it slow and making a soup and just
yeah. It can
really
be something
being
really simple. It's
involved.
just something really simple.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes we get this idea that we got to be like the gurus or we got to be like Gordon Ramsay in the kitchen or, all these false, unnecessary ideas of what we need to do when we do something. Man, just doing it is the win. Just doing it is the reward.
It's really just the same with everything. Everything's so easily accessed to not take part. This.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, there becomes a lot of mental blockages that are just could be torn down in 1 second.
it's definitely that comfort zone that many of us have found. At a certain point, it's like at one point I had a very close relationship with my pillow and my quilt. Now in my life, I think sleep is overrated. It's just something in the way of me wanting to get things done. Like, you know what, I'm too tired. I need to go to sleep.
Yeah,
And
there's
it's
a time for everything.
yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, man. I'd never thought I'd ever think that. Yeah, the only reason I'm going to bed is because I'm looking forward to getting up the next day. It's nothing to do with
Yeah.
sleep. Sleep's just an annoyance. Being tired is really irritating. It's like, I'm really
Well,
sorry.
for
I need to go.
that is interesting because for some reason, well, not for some reason, but
Excuse me. Sorry.
I did find myself definitely in my teenage years, definitely in my 20s, in a state that's probably best described as depression. And sleep was something that I went to, and I don't think it was actually helpful. And
Yeah.
what I ended up
Yeah.
finding to be helpful was appreciating myself. Appreciating myself and being open enough with myself to be open enough with other people. And it sounds kind of like a little Rubik's cube, but it's
Yeah, and I think
simply
obviously,
put, like we feel like we need to wear these suits and we feel like we need to put on these acts. And some people, I'm not saying everybody, but myself.
yeah,
Uh,
I was gonna just say it can be similar sort of like symptoms, but experienced in a different way. But I think very similar feelings by many that what you've just described.
yeah, and we were kind of talking about it the other day. Is okay, I am uh, what I am, and if we want to try to describe what we are, maybe we could get into that, whatever. But sometimes my brain works in a particular way, and my language skills are at a very reasonable level. Sometimes it's just trying to explain something, and it sounds like, whew, and going in circles. And okay, all right, that's fine. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not a figment of entertainment. Not for myself, not for anyone else. And if I get in this, you could be up here, and it's fun because this morning stream, I'm kind of battling with that. I'm convinced. I'm like trying to convince myself that I'm not entertaining. I'm not here to entertain.
Actually, we were speaking about this at the end of Cool Frog stream. That a lot of actual people who are, yeah, obviously, if anybody got, it was mentioned, if anybody got like a big sponsorship deal or anything, yeah, fantastic. But a lot of the reasons that people do the sort of stuff that we sort of do is not even about the followers. It's because we've got something to say, and this is a tool that we can use at the moment to put that message out. Because I had to 12 years ago find out if there was other people who had the same sort of mindset as I had. Am I alone
Much
in
like
thinking these things? Am I alone in thinking this? Surely there's other people who see what I'm seeing at the moment, like screaming and shouting at family and friends and everybody thinking I was crazy, thinking, am I crazy? And these sort of things at least let others, I think, because I've looked out and seen others doing live streams that were like, yeah, what that guy or what that girl's speaking about, that, yeah. And you would go and chat and you would go and get involved. So,
By the way, speaking of chat, hey Slidey Pie, thank you for popping in to the strangest morning radio show in all 7 universes.
that's a fact.
And that's the only fact that's factual. Yeah, I'd say, it's fun because when you guys first joined me on Butterflies and Dragons episode 1, like what I said was, this is a dream come true.
I remember
And
that.
that's exactly
Do you know something?
true.
Do you know something? And I
Yeah,
know you'll take this. I know you'll take this in the right way.
I love it. If not,
uh,
I'll be convinced later.
at what at whatever part of the day and how many ever parts of the day, if I have a thought about you, that is the main echo chamber of my connection to you and my psyche. If I maybe think, if I maybe have any thoughts about you at all, that's the one that'll come through. So this is like a dream come true for me.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, and what it was really incorporated was the fact that we can still do this sort of thing. Different people with different thoughts and different ideas, to be able to come down, sit together, and just talk about stuff, because communication is literally being lost in the information infodemic.
And it's cool because one of the things that you probably noticed about me is I do have a tendency to argue even when I'm wrong, especially when I'm wrong. And
Or even not when you're wrong.
yeah, I argue harder when I am wrong.
I'm sure I've snapped back and heard you. Maybe
Starting to realize I'm wrong.
About,
I'm doubling down.
Yeah, I'm sure that I've heard you start to talk about stuff, and it's not been devil's advocate. And then as it goes round the conversation, you'll be like, "Oh no." You're like, oh.
You know what's funny? So Darth Hideous was reading. I don't know what book it was, but something about like wisdom and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was the
worldly wisdom, they call it.
Worldly wisdom. I listened to a few of them.
Yeah, I listened to it again, and there was a part of it where it said, don't argue for the sake of arguing. It said that in other words. And I go, fuck. And I'm resistant. You know, I have this tendency to resist some of my own truths that I like feel righteous about, I guess, or something weird like that.
But do you not think the way that we sort of like have our reflex in the world just now is some sort of knee-jerk reaction from
yeah, that's exactly
from our psyche as we were young? So like in the sort of dreamscape analysis in the real physical world that we are experiencing this, we should be able to sort of like back engineer where this character trait is coming from.
Yeah, it's really so these type of things like. So
but you know something also sometimes we do know, but we like having a little fun with it. Because
exactly what
why reveal something to ourselves that we sort of deeply down know, and it's what we've always done. It's like a little sort of characterized twitch.
Yeah, exactly. And so so this kind of came into my psyche, right? Like, oh, okay, all right. And then so this was like 3-4 weeks ago, and I've been seeing me living up to that. Like, I'm seeing, oh wow, I am actually like just stirring shit up with really no purpose to it. Besides, maybe.
But you do it with such humour, though, because I don't think you would do it without you had a connection to someone first.
That's true. That's very true. And that's how I'm like. That's another learning. That is another learning. Like okay, like the comfort zone.
For an example, there was someone in the conversation a couple of weeks ago, and someone sort of put in an argument comment, and then the person got a little bit unsettled by it, but then the person said, listen, I was only sort of joking with that, but with yourself, you understand the joke first, because like I can't remember what it was being spoken about, but just like every third or fourth comment, I could hear you in the background saying, and freedom. Remember freedom? And I was like, no, don't remember freedom. You're just applying that for argument's sake. Now, that is something that can be laid on many things. For argument's sake, let's say this, and it's not as much the pronounced devil's advocate. It's maybe just a step down from that, rather being really focused to point like it's one way, but what about that? So it says, yeah, for argument's sake, let's say you're wrong about everything.
I think sometimes when I try to like the road's too loud when you're talking, and I'm noticing once in a while I get stuck on mute. So I'm like, oh, I want to say something, and I don't want to leave you hanging, but
so it's like this is I don't know if I'll ever be able to work this Twitch out of mine, but as soon as I seen your microphone muted, I stopped speaking.
Oh, Slight Pie, my face is not hidden. But yeah, here we go. Let's see. Sorry. Well, let's see if my the buttons are going slow. I pressed it. Yeah, I'm not hiding.
Things actually are a little bit laggy today for some reason.
Yeah, I was laggy getting myself out of bed.
That
like,
also.
Oh, yeah, I woke up.
And I mentioned to the boys.
Hello.
I mentioned to the boys earlier on when I went to do my shopping. Everybody seemed very anxious, irritated, and angry. People were it's like it really caught me off balance. it's like who would throw their shopping into their basket? Why would you do that?
Oh man, yeah, I know. This is like this is my special things.
People were banging off each other, and I could just sense this, like, everybody's angry, man. What's going on? There was one person that got a glance, and they were happy.
With what you're saying about, kind of having fun with things, it's kind of in my mind like, okay, like am I having too much fun with the no freedom thing? To be honest, because now sometimes I find myself, to be honest, oh my god. So, but like
what
just to kind of get
when you say to be honest, like every other time you've been speaking, you haven't been.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I had to stop myself saying that a lot of times. Like, to be honest, like you need to stop saying that because you are.
I really like what you have to say, but no, sure. There, right? So, like, there is something that I'm trying to work out in regards to your understanding of kind of what that means, and I'm starting to understand it, but it's still not.
Yeah, but because the thing is, this is a very, very deep thing. And a lot of times it will be because I haven't explained myself properly. But what it really is there's certain words that we generalize with and use so many times that are meant to be words with meaningless effect, but yet have been used for us to have a lot of focus and energy towards. It's one of the biggest, as far as like language is concerned, there's so many words like that have a reversed energy meaning, not in definition, but in true application. In true application of the word, there is no certain thing.
Not in definition, but in essence.
Yes.
I was playing a pretty cool. I'm gonna turn my camera off because my phone's just shaking here. It could be annoying to somebody. I was playing a really cool video that definitely had you thinking about you and your diving deep into the essence of words, which, man, I really appreciate. Because sometimes we just forget about it and it just goes into our psyche and it does what it
But
does
it's
without our
brother, it's
understanding.
strange. Brother, it's strange. These things are like sort of like coming to the surface all of a sudden. It's like I've shouted for freedom like everybody else for the rest of my life. I have done. And then all of a sudden these words, do you know what it is? I know exactly what this is, and it's a biological and physiological inevitability, is the synesthesia that's now happening in my brain. So it's like if things seem to have been like with double meaning or a reverse energy when used in definition, say the opposite, this double speak thing, these words are just jumping out at me. I don't know where all these feelings of essence of reverse psychology through literature has came from. I haven't studied this.
Well, that makes it even cooler to me. And I was yesterday, yesterday on Watch Things, I was um, playing a stream and there was an interview. I don't know the lady's name, but I thought she was just freaking marvelous. Uh, and she was on with a gentleman named Aubrey Marcus, who I really like his wordsmithing as well. And her kind of topic of depth was on the spell, the enchantment,
There you go.
the
Stop. Stop.
yes,
Stop. 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 It's so in front of our faces. It's in the spell, the literal spell of the word. It's
yes,
in the
yes, yes.
spell. The spelling, in, and the ing is always the G is referenced when looked upon as the central point, as the energy zone, as the alpha and omega, the G. And this runs a lot deeper, obviously, than we understand when we start to use certain literalization to connect with each other and communicate with each other, and we don't actually understand that we are actually depleting a very important
Oh,
energy within ourselves.
yes. While you're talking, I was thinking about. Oh, well, first I was thinking about my unborn son.
Yeah,
His
man.
name will be Kaleo. His name will be
Yeah,
Kaleo,
man.
which means the word. And one of my favorite mantras is Ow.
Hmm.
And I know you have a very good home yourself, sir. and
I've
and I think about I read this beautiful, very quick book on mantras, and the author said something that was very meaningful to me. And she said, you don't need to translate these mantras like if you're doing something in Sanskrit or a different language, right? They will reveal themselves. And I believe that has proven to be true in many, many cases. And I know I've talked to you about it a few times with stones and different, energy points that one may choose or to focus on or utilize, like sage and other things, right? And the words, they are going to reveal themselves, and by being informed, we do have the opportunity to direct the spelling the way that we would like for the creation to go.
It's like as basic as those words like the struggle or the challenge. You know, it's in those sort of like similarities where you look for those little energy shifts in simple little words that when you start using them, creates a different energy and a dynamic and connection. And
Yeah,
when
or challenge to opportunity.
yeah, exactly. But yet, still, we use words in our present life that have zero real energy meaning, but a massive meaning in our own lives. It's like these words need to be. We need to stop saying these things.
Well, you
Things that
have
aren't.
these things
Things that
that
aren't.
can be downright energy killers or worse.
But it's like things that aren't true. And if we are saying things that we don't know aren't true, we think they are true. Just think about that energy. Think how misdirected that energy is. And then what, maybe realizing that, oh, whoa, that thing that I've been told is true for all this time isn't true. It's a reconnection to something. It's not like you've, it's like this is what it's all about. It's about taking something back that's been taken from us all forever, I think.
Yeah.
444 years old. Stuck on the planet because I slept in from a time
Ken,
machine.
and that's it.
What can I do?
444 years old. Back to those fours, my friend. That was very
What's that saying?
interesting because when you asked me a while back, have you been seeing fours?
Yeah.
And like just right before that, like I don't know if it was that particular stream or a different stream. Um, it was like a long stream, and there was like so many fours when I happened to look at it. And yeah, not only that, but I've been seeing fours other places. And what four means to me, and I don't think it's 100% unique to me, is building, creating, structure, foundation. At least
It
at this
happened
moment, that's my relationship with that particular number.
2 mornings in a row, and the third morning I was so convinced that when I went to bed that night, it was like I'm going to wake up at 4:44, and I woke up about 7:30 or so.
Oh.
It didn't happen. But it's that
Interesting,
old joke
interesting,
about
interesting.
the the man who found he found that £5, £5 Scottish outside a betting shop, and he sort of just looked up, and it was 5 minutes to five, and he, he rushed into the bookies, and it was the fifth race that was on, and then the fifth horse was called number five, and he put his £5 on it. It was 55-1. And it was like he had never understood that he could see signs like this happening, just one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. And he was just waiting for the race, and the race ran, and his horse finished fifth.
Came in fifth place.
Yeah. So without a doubt, absolutely
No,
everything
that's a
is a
good story.
sign. Yeah, so made up, but
That is.
just understandable. That's the way it is. And
Yeah,
that
there
is
was. I
quantum.
was
That
watching.
is that is quantum physics.
There was a discussion that I was watching about. It was with a gentleman named Oh, his last name's Gilbert. Drawing a bit of a blank, but we'll just go with his last name, Dr.
Yep.
something Gilbert. And he was talking about sacred geometry. And the patterns of our existence. And
Patterns.
he made a statement that was interesting to me. And it was very synchronatic as well. And his statement was something like, for someone who has no idea in regards to the nature of the patterns in and around them, they cannot truly exercise free will, because you become a subject of these patterns, as one may become a subject to the reverberating effects of the word, of the spelling. And it was interesting because there was a lot of, I was kind of seeing this push, and a video was sent to me that I've already seen, and I didn't resonate well with me. And I started noticing this push for the idea that there is no free will. And I know we could go into this, but there's not going to be too much time at this point. And there's no God. So that was kind of the essence of the conversation. And I don't feel like that is the truth that makes sense to my experiences at all.
Yes.
And,
okay.
but now I just want to give just one point in their argument, which totally made me throw it all out. So the point that I found interesting, and this is both of their arguments, one of them was a professor that wrote books on the subject, is there's no free will, but I emphasize but you should operate as if there is. That's what I said.
Okay,
meant I'm not playing pretend with my.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to get that out.
See, the thing is with the philosophical, the spiritual side, the scientific side, this is a thing that I'd wrote down to be questioning myself. I like to question things. And it's it's still a little bit on your topic here that I've wrote down. If the idea of God was a good idea, and if anything at all can be applied in both the quantum and spiritual side, what possibly did that idea take us away from? Now, if everything has been a possible distraction, and this, we're just talking here. As you've just said, still act like there is. So it's like okay, okay, there is no God, but you can still be God-like, loving, caring, looking after the planet. You can be such a connective individual that you can be helping others to heal themselves. So there's many things we can do that is all within that story. But yeah, yes. Even if there wasn't, act like there is.
Yeah, I think this is a really good discussion, and one that we should really go into depth more on, and
let's do a micro
hash out
night.
these these. Yes, yes, yes.
Every hour
Hash
on the
out
hour, we'll
these like
deal.
different thoughts on it.
Yeah, man, let's do it, man. Let's make a date and get it done.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, because it's interesting to uncover, like you mentioned earlier, where our ideas may have been conceived, and whether we actually own them or they own us, and
Yeah,
whether we're
it's
led
50
to
50.
play pretends
It's
or
50
we
50.
have been led
Yeah,
from a different place.
yeah, exactly. And it seems to be now falling on the 50-50 if thinking has actually been a good thing.
And I actually I'm split in the way I feel about free will. Um, I believe and this is going to be a kind of a dumb probably to most people, but I believe we do have free will and we don't have free will.
Yeah, but when someone says to me free will, it sounds like will has been arrested. Why free will? Is will not will? Is consciousness not consciousness? Is conscience not conscience?
Yeah, yeah, we have a certain amount of freedom to not be free.
Here there's a little saying, and into English it is do what you will and will what you do.
Oh yes, my friend,
Yes,
it is time for me to charge in.
do it, man.
Bless you. Thank you. You are appreciated.
Have a
Slotty
great
Pie,
day.
thank you for dropping into the chat and sharing your joy and your day with us. Love ya. God bless. See you soon. Bye,
Peace.
Bon. Bye, Bub. See you soon and peace out. I'm slowly trying to figure this out. All right. See you later.